Hello, welcome back. Thanks for watching this video. Now, this is the whole map for online facilitation training. I just want to make this video so that we can have some of the longest information to put on the video so you can watch it before you come to our training, the actual training. So in this video, we'll be focusing on pre-class preparation. So I will spend some time talking about in this video how can we prepare before class. Okay, pre-class, let's talk about communication, practice, and things that we need to know to set up our space. Communications, very important. I think there's a list here. So there are a few things you need to know and that you need to know how to do it, especially on a Zoom online setting. So you must learn how to schedule your meetings. Sometimes maybe your church already set up the meetings for you, but it's a good skill to learn how to schedule your own meetings either on Zoom or other online platform. Send out the links and reminders earlier. I would recommend at least 2 to 3 days earlier so that you can also trial the links on your own. Double check if the links work. Oftentimes, if someone set up the link for me, I would still go in, let's say if I speak at a church and they set a link for me, I would still go into the link earlier to make sure everything is okay, because sometimes especially you use someone's account, the setting is not done right. So I will later on attach, I recommend you to watch a video about how to do the Zoom setting, because that will definitely help you how to navigate some of the features in Zoom. You might also want to use a WhatsApp group for extra communications if there is any technical difficulties. Assign a backup person in your group as a tech person in case you can't, while you're teaching or facilitating, people come in late, you want them have an extra person to allow people to come in. So you may have to find a co-host, make that person a co-host or your assistant leader. So in case someone come in later, and the co-host can have authority to let people come in, so it's not just rely on you. Another thing you need to know is how to stream videos. Now, sometimes depends on the network. Sometimes the network may have some issues. So I always find it's very helpful. Let's say you want to show videos online from YouTube. It might be safest for you. Either you embed it into your PowerPoint, or you have the link ready and then you can paste it on the chat and ask people to watch it from there, click on their own time to watch it from there. And then when you share the video, make sure you do a share computer sound in that video. Now, there are other things that you need to practice. What can you do to practice your Zoom meeting? So maybe it's best if you have a friend that can practice with you. Let's say you sign on together. Can I practice a few things with you before the meeting? So as I said before, how to set a meeting, how to share your screen, how to do breakout rooms, how to use the whiteboards. It's a great tool for you to ask people to participate when you're talking, or when you ask a question, you want people to answer that. So it's a great way for people to participate. Another thing is how to mute or unmute, how to manage participant privileges, how to do screen sharing. Do you let them do the screen sharing? Sometimes you might have an activity you want everybody to share. There's multiple options where you can let individual to share their screen one at a time. Or there's one function in the Zoom where you can allow multiple people to share their screen at the same time. How to use the chat, how to insert videos or music into my PowerPoint if you use PowerPoint. So all these, what I just mentioned here, you can just copy my title and kind of search it on YouTube to find tutorials on how to do each one of these things. It's actually, this is how I learned using Zoom. So I actually went online and learned all these different, I think it's the most essential things for how to use Zoom. And then I just look online and I learn it in the YouTube platform. So I will send it to you, this checklist. Basically, it's the same thing what I just mentioned earlier. And during the facilitation training, I will send this to you. And I hope this is helpful. So this is our first segment on how we can prepare our class physically in terms of the checklist, the things that we need to do before a class. Now, how can we set up the space, like the teaching space, like people, they see us, how can we set up the teaching space that we have. So there are a few things you need to pay attention to: lighting, technology, background, and appearance. So if you look at these two pictures here, lighting is very important. If you look at picture number 1, it's very dark. Picture number 2 is a great lighting. So you always have the light shining on your face. Always have the light shining at your face, okay? So you see here, this one is backlit, so it can't really see the face. So there are a few things that you can go by nowadays. You can go to, you can either use a desk lamp to do that, or there's some selfie lights that you can buy from Lazada or online, Amazon or whatever. I also use one of these ring lamp. It's so cheap. It's like $3 from Lazada, but it makes a huge difference on your appearance, especially your face. Look more brightened up, and it's a very crucial thing. Visually, it's important, especially when you are teaching online, when you're facilitating online. Your visual is very important, because if you have a dark theme and people just not feel very engaged with you, they just feel like they're in a basement or somewhere. So try to make your appearance is pleasant and light, bright light as much as possible. So other things, equipment that is very helpful. You don't have to go really fancy, but I think it's very important to invest in a webcam and a good audio, either using your headphones or you might have external mic. So this is something that we set up at home, but you definitely don't have to go this fancy because we've been teaching since last year online. So we've been increasing our equipments to engage our students. So you see, we have external mic and our lighting and all that. We have backdrops and all that, but you really don't have to go that far if you just do it occasionally. But I think you must put your laptop on a surface that is stable. Make sure you don't hold on your phone and teach while you're moving, and make people very nauseous and very distracting. So make sure you put your laptop on a stable, or even though you're teaching from your phone, make sure you put it down in a stable like a countertop or something. Good connection network. I know some places is hard, especially you live in other parts of the world. So some of the networking may not be very well. But clean camera, make sure you clean your camera. So sometimes touching is kind of blurry, so make sure you clean your camera, make sure it is clean and not blurry at all. Use a headphone audio or use external mic. Is optional, webcam or external mic. For me, I use a webcam because my computer's webcam is not very good, so it's kind of blurry. Every time I do a teaching online, it's not very engaging. So I've chosen to purchase a webcam online. A webcam. So let's talk about background. How should we set up a background? Now, if you are like me, I teach from my home, and this is a room from my son's room. So you can see how much toys, and how distracting it is if I were to teach it in a setting like this. So people would start looking at all the Legos and all that. So you make sure your background is clear, simple, and uncluttered. So you see here, I have a partition, right, that I bought online that cover up all my mess. But if you can do, like, find a wall, find a place, or a wardrobe, a background. As you can see from my back, it's actually a closet. It's a plain closet, but I stick out some pictures on it. So it looks very nice, looks like a studio, but it's actually a closet. So you can find a wall that is blank and is not much distractions over there. So you can use it as your background. Some people prefer use virtual backgrounds. Actually, it's quite distracting, especially if you don't have a green, you don't have a green screen, because you sometimes would disappear when you're teaching. So I find that it's actually not very productive, not very fruitful sometimes to use a virtual background unless your virtual background is very stable in a sense. So make sure if you're using a virtual background, make sure your face not disappearing while you're facilitating. It's very distracting. So I'd rather you use a very simple background just to, so that your face won't disappear. Another trick is elevate your computer. Make sure you don't go like this when you teach, right? The camera is at the bottom, looking at your nostril and your double chin is not very flattering. the best way to teach is to have the camera at your eye level. So either you elevate your laptop a little bit like what I do here, so that your eye level with the camera. So that's the most flattering position. How about your appearance? Now, if you're ladies, you're probably concerned about how you look on the Zoom. And let's say you don't even you don't do any makeup, and it's fine. Now in the Zoom features, when you go to setting, you can actually change your online appearance. You can modify your online appearance. It looks like as if you put on some makeup. But here are a few suggestions if you're ladies that I would recommend this to you. Dress up a little bit, but not like, wow, you're wearing your gowns or whatever. But you know, trying to wear something in solid color, not in and modesty is very important. So we're not showing any unnecessary parts of your body that's distracting. Avoid any stripes or small dots or small checkers. They are very distracting when they are on the screen. They actually kind of flicker. So it's very distracting if you wear those patterns, small patterns especially. Also, the appearance of PowerPoint is very important if you're using PowerPoint. There are a lot of free PowerPoint out there now. One of my favorite is Canva. Some of you might know that already, or free PowerPoints that is beautiful and updated, because honestly, the appearance of the PowerPoint is very crucial to engage the audience as well. When in terms of makeup, how you should put on your makeup. So I have 3 options here. Which one do you think is most appropriate for online facilitation or teaching? A, B, or C? I hope you pick C, which is the last one here. A looks like if you normally don't wear any makeup, it's fine. But maybe you just put on some lipstick, and that's totally fine. At least you look more awake and look more refreshing when people look at you. And B is too much makeup. Okay, look at her. The red lipstick, right? Your focus is just go to her red lipstick. So don't do that. Try not to put too much makeup when you're actually leading online. Facilitation is kind of distracting. Maybe save it for your party. So C is more natural. So you're trying to stick with anything matte makeup and no bright lipstick, or more natural look. And if you're interested, I'm sure there are lots of videos out there teaching you how to do the Zoom makeup